Hello, Sir Topham Hackray here to do a video on some internet drama. So I wasn't expecting this to happen, but my friend Kidsredegg got hit with a beware made on him by a guy named Jimothy. So to explain some of the things that have been going on, and because Kidsredegg explicitly told me to help him out with this situation, because apparently I'm the only responsible adult who all of his friends are absolute fucking children. And I mean that in a very I do not mean that in a nice way, because apparently I have to sort these things out. So what's been going on? So what happened is there's two individuals, CJ and Jimothy. CJ doesn't really matter in this conversation. She's kind of a sort of a civilian casualty in all of this, so we're not going to mention her as much. But basically what happened is Jimothy's mad at Kidsredegg for having a spat on his public Discord server over him not breaking the rules of the server. And because he had to be banned and he had to be removed from the server, he was coming out saying all this mad shit about Kidsredegg. However, because I was too slow in making this video, Kidsredegg's sister made a video of it, and that video is plagued with some really bad choice of words that I now have to explain in this video, because everybody just emotes first, reacts first, but never do they think. So now I have to do the thing where I have to clean up this mess by making a video. So first of all, let's get down to the relationship between Kidsredegg and his sister, okay? Because apparently that was a hugely problematic thing. And this is because Kidsredegg and her sister love each other very much. In a familial way, as in the way two siblings would love each other. Not the same way two people love each other sexually, but apparently to Jimothy, love means sex, because he's a complete and utter tool who doesn't know that there's different kinds of love. The Greeks have multiple versions of the word love in their language to denote this. There's things like brotherly love, sisterly love, the love between two friends, the love between, parents and their kids, the love between, a person and their pets, and the love between a person and their occupation, a person and their hobbies, and a person with the things that they like. And love doesn't have to mean anything explicit. It just means you really like something a lot, okay? He just likes his sister because they have a good relationship together as siblings. There is nothing incestuous about this going on at all, and the only reason that these claims are being made is because some people think it's a good idea to take people's words out of context, which Jimothy has done to an nth degree. I will also like to remind him that you are not a popufur. You are not a furry. I am not a popufur, but I am a furry, so I know a thing or two about making bewares. And frankly, your beware is just as terrible as the one PB did on some poor guy named Delta, okay? Simple as that. And as a Toho fan, you kicking the hornet's nest is very upsetting. As a furry, what you said were fighting words. As a content creator who has Kidsredegg as his friend, and I've been mentoring him because we'll get to that in a moment, frankly, you're punching way too far above your weight. So, yeah, let's just get that out of that way, okay? Secondly, there's the thing that happened on Kidsredegg's server that led to Jimothy and CJ essentially breaking up with Kidsredegg. So for the longest time, Kidsredegg is kind of terrible at running a Discord server. He doesn't understand that you have to, moderate a server, you have to, lay down the law as it is, and that you have to have rules. For the longest time, his servers don't have rules. So of course people would join his server and abuse the fact that his server had no rules. In fact, I had to help him devise a list of rules for his server for him to put up. And even then, Kidsredegg was ineffective at enforcing those rules. That's why he got upset, because Jimothy was spamming the various chats with random stuff. And when Kidsredegg tried to lay on the law, Jimothy just kicked the hornet's nest. Kidsredegg got upset because he emotes first, reacts second, and thinks last. So I have to help. So I was on a call with him very late at night, mind you, having to be his big brother. I had to be his lawyer, and I had to be his fucking mentor because of all this stuff that was going on. Of course, I've been mentoring him for a while now, mostly because I see a lot of myself in him as an overly emotional, but still smart and funny individual. So I kind of want to steer, Kidsredegg in a certain way where I can I can share my life lessons with him, my wisdom with him, so he wouldn't make the same mistakes I made in my youth. The same mistakes that got me into a bunch of these whack-ass programs that I was abused in, or I had witnessed abuse in, at the very least. So, I've been helping him navigate a lot of life stuff, and it's the reason why he hadn't quit high school. Because he's 19, he was held back a few years, and now he's making good on getting his diploma instead of the good enough degree, I suppose. But, some people just bloom late in their life, as it is. So I've been helping him navigate his crappy school life. I've been navigating him with his traumas. I've been navigating him with various family stuff. And all the while trying to help Kidsredegg be, in the words of Wilbert Audrey, a sadder and wiser individual. And I don't mean sad as in like boo-hoo-hoo. I mean sadder as in like, more staid and, serious. And I also had to be his lawyer when that stuff was going down. I was trying to get, first and foremost, Kidsredegg and his sister to calm down because they were doing no favors for themselves, making the problem even worse. And so I had to calm them down, and we kind of made a peace agreement between Jimothy and CJ, and everything was all hunky-dory. And I even said the one phrase you should never say when you break up a fight. And it is a quote from Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, and it's a very infamous thing he said, and it was, "This is peace for our time." I said those same exact words, and I shit you not, several hours later, while my ass was in bed, trying to get a good night's sleep, I had to be woken up to sort it because things were just happening all over again. And I had to step in and have to put out that fire. Now, should Kidsredegg react the way that he did? No. Should Jimothy react the way he did? Also no. Because both individuals were in the wrong, and I had to save their ass, had to save Kidsredegg's ass, and not making the problem so bad it ends up destroying his server. So I had to resolve those issues, and I had to make sure that everything was all set. However, even though this event happened, I think last year, deep into last year, somehow, some way, Jimothy just had to continue with the beef. He had to have an issue with Kidsredegg. And really, at this point, when you get banned off of a server, you should just let it go. And that's what I'm doing with the Furries of New England server, even though I'm asking them for closure and to sign off on a peace deal that I know Mechabri would never sign off on. But then again, I rather warn people that the Furries of New England Discord server is an absolute clique full of in-groups. And if you're not part of those in-groups, but you're already a part of those in-groups, then you are meaningless to that community. But still, this should have been a done deal. This should have been over with. People should have just left this alone. But for whatever reason, Jimothy couldn't leave it alone. He couldn't. He never would. And so he made a Beware, which, by the way, he doesn't even have a lot of receipts. It's a lot of he said, she said kind of stuff, right? Most of that video is a black screen. When you're making a Beware, you have to have bits of Discord text. You have to have, some sort of presentation. You have to have some pizzazz, some chutzpah. Your video doesn't have any bloody chutzpah. It's just a black screen. When you do show Discord stuff, it's like, it's just stuff that's like, doesn't fully capture the narrative that you want to push. And frankly, I don't buy it. I do not buy your claims. I do not buy your evidence. You need better receipts. And frankly, if you're going to ask about my receipts, here's the thing. This video is only to just sort of clear the air about these things and to get some peace of mind from all parties, right? Like, I'm not accusing you of anything outside of having, beef that's stuck in the past. Your beef is just stuck in the past, and you need to move on. Kidsredegg has moved on. But because you keep pushing the envelope, he has to keep worrying, and he has to keep, getting upset over this old drama because you wouldn't let it go. And obviously, you're not letting it go. In fact, you're trying to profit off of this for the sake of your own viewers, to push your own narrative, to slander another individual just because you don't like how they were being treated on a server. Because Discord servers aren't real life, I'm afraid. Sure, they have real people chatting in them, and things on the internet do have consequences in real life, But at the same time, Discord servers are not real life. The same way the Railway series is not real life. Dinosaur Train isn't real life. Toho Project is for certainty not real life. But you know what is real life? Knowing when to pick and choose your battles. When to know which battles are worthwhile to fight in, and knowing which ones aren't worth your time. And frankly, it's this battle that isn't worth your time. It's ridiculous. And I have to stand here in front of my camera. By the way, I wasn't even planning on making YouTube content today. Sure, I was in the editor chair this morning, making some videos for today and tomorrow, but now I have to make an extra video that I have to slap together really quickly. Probably just gonna do it in fucking CapCut or not. You'll know when the video goes up. But I wasn't expecting having to do this. I have random people in my house that I have to film around, that I have to make this emergency video, because you, Jimothy, didn't know what battles to pick and choose, and you decided to fight all of them at once. And now you have a YouTuber with 100 more subscribers than you, telling you to leave Kidsredegg alone. And sure, he fucked up a bunch of times. But I was there, Jimothy. I was there, and I was trying to help Kidsredegg try to get through his emotions, to get through his feelings, so that he could work on hard, actionable results to try and make things better. And for the most part, they did. But you won't let things get better. You choose. Is this filming? Yeah, it is. And you choose to keep not making things better. And that 5-minute and 55-second video you made on him with unsubstantiated claims, most of which were taken way out of context because you don't know how language works, and you rather jump to conclusions than offer any actual evidence that Kidsredegg is a bad person. Other than he just likes his sister, the same way I like my brothers, and the same way my grandparents liked me and I liked them. But obviously, you don't know what the word love is. You don't know what the English language is. And so now, I have to tell you to get off Kidsredegg's back because you are officially more in the wrong than Kidsredegg is. And here's the thing. I like my friends. I like standing up for my friends and helping them out in their time of need. My sense of altruism is one of my key defining characteristics. Because I believe good-hearted, good effort altruism beats all the evil in the world. And here I am defending Kidsredegg, which I would usually do the same way I would defend my friends if there were lies and deceit about them. But you keep pushing that envelope. You keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And this is what happens. You get tied up in some inter-channel YouTube drama that you do not have the ability to shut down. You have opened up Pandora's box and you have nobody to blame but for yourself. And here's the thing. As much as I've defended Kidsredegg, I'm also willing to tell him that, I'm also willing to be honest with him and be like, Kidsredegg fucked up. He fucked up big time, all because he reacts and overreacts to everything. And I have to be there for him to tell him to calm down and to rationalize things. Because I swear to God, out of everybody that I know, I have to be the rational adult. I have to be the man that says, no more. I have to tell people to be reasonable, to make people more reasonable. But you refuse to. And now Pandora's box is open, and there's no telling how this is going to end. I may have to make a second video about this at some point, depending on where this goes. I hope this doesn't go anywhere. But apparently, this is what we're doing now. Meaningless, random internet drama that exists for the sake of drama and nothing else. This isn't productive. What I'm doing isn't productive. What you're doing is not productive. What Kidsredegg's sister isn't productive. And Kidsredegg is also being unproductive because we have to be here to point fingers and to accuse each other of being enemies of the state. And I have to be the one to tell everybody to calm the fuck down, tell people who's wrong, because frankly, I have to be the mature one in this. And yeah, I don't have to keep repeating myself. This is some Soviet Politburo bullshit. And last I checked, the Soviet Union died in 1991. Thank you and good night.